How's it going, Fit Fam? So let's talk about today's workout. Well, we got set up for our warm-up. There will be no running in it because we have plenty of it going on within our WOD for today. So what we got set up is going to be 2 rounds, starting with hurdler lunge shifts. We're looking at doing 6 on each side, then doing windmills, 5 on each side, and then finishing it up with jump squats. So it should be doing 12 repetitions of our hurdler lunge shifts, 10 of the windmills, and then 8 of our jump squats. Once we're done with our 2 rounds for our warm-up, we're going to lead off into our WOD. We're looking at doing a 400-meter run for our buy-in, so no getting around that. If you do not have a delineated or marked out set distance, what I would recommend is do a 5-minute long run. Once you're done with that, you're going to come on back and you're going to do 10 rounds of 5 push jerks and then 10 pull-ups. If you do not have access to a bar or anything to conduct your pull-ups, you have alternatives that you can do. You can do either a bent over row or a banded row. If you do not wish to do those either, you can also conduct dips instead. What we would recommend is 20, especially if you're going to use a bench or any type of ledge for your dips. Once you're done with your 10 rounds, you're then going to do another 400-meter cash out run, and then you're all said and done. All right, so let's get into the breakdown of each movement, and let's get some. A few things to note on the hurdler lunge shifts would be you want to start with both knees at 90 degrees. Once you're set, you're trying to keep the torso upright and you're going to shift forward. You're really trying to keep your heel planted and go to the furthest range of motion, so really trying to flex both joints, so the knee and the ankle. You're then going to shift on back, really focusing on including that full range of motion now on the posterior side for that hamstring activation. Going forward and back is going to be 1 repetition. For our windmills, we're going to grab an object. So here I'm using a soccer ball, but you can also use a rather light weight. So a 5-pound dumbbell or kettlebell is perfectly fine, or even a medicine ball. The big things that we want to really focus on is keeping our torso and our head nice and upright, and really trying to create a full range of motion and articulation of our shoulder joints as we're conducting our windmills. We of course want to work with our body when conducting jump squats. So foot placement is going to be key depending on each person. A few things that you can do is generally we want to keep our feet just outside of our hips. A few hops can also show you where naturally your body wants to be when conducting a squat. Really looking for full range of motion as we're conducting it. Next thing that we really want to pay attention to is how we create arm drive. So we want to use our arms to create momentum as we jump. So we want to keep it fluid, so reaching up high towards the sky, coming down and through for an adequate engagement. To get to the starting position of our push jerks, what I would recommend is squatting on down and picking up our object, trying to keep it close to our center of gravity. Once we have an adequate grip on it, we can then initiate by conducting a hang clean. Once we do our triple extension movement and get it up to our shoulders, we can then readjust our grip again, and keeping those elbows tight along with our torso, we want to remember dip, drive, dip, and extend up, really focusing on trying to punch through the ceiling as we go and keeping that athletic stance as we land. Alright, so let's talk about pull-ups. First thing to note is going to be grip. So generally we want to keep our grip just outside of our shoulders. This not only promotes that we're addressing the proper muscle groups that are involved in the pull-up, but in addition to which that we're getting a full range of motion for this movement. We want to keep our elbows close to our body as we're going through this, and we're also trying to make sure that our shoulders are adequately engaged with this movement. What I imagine, as you can see I'm doing a dead hang, I first then engage my shoulders and then pull up from there. An alternative or progression to a strict pull-up is a kipping pull-up. With our kipping pull-ups, we want to use the momentum that we generate from that swing to then be able to then create consistent repetitions of our pull-ups. An example of which that I'm going to conduct is a chest to bar pull-up, using that momentum for me to then generate more force and go a little bit higher in conducting this movement. First alternative is going to be a bent over row. And so what we're going to do to initiate this exercise is just like we did for our push jerks. Once we have the object up, we're then going to descend, keeping our back nice and flat, keeping those shoulders engaged, so imagine keeping those shoulder blades pinched together, and then we're going to pull that object towards our torso. The second alternative that we have for pull-ups today is going to be dips. So, utilizing some sort of ledge or bench, we're now going to position our hands just outside of our torso, keeping our legs nice and straight, and allowing our body to now dip down and come up, really trying to engage those triceps as we're going through. One thing that we want to note is trying to keep our shoulders engaged through the entire range of the motion. So there shouldn't be any type of excessive shrugging, as you can see that I just created. This is going to make sure to keep our spine and our torso in neutral alignment through the entire range of the motion. That concludes today's workout. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reach out to us. Take care.